320 of Indigo Airlines. I request you all to please give a huge round of applause to sir. And please come here and say a few words to all of us.
We are very distinguished people, the members of the council, representatives from the army, from the Air Force, from the DGCA, from the Ministry of Civil Aviation. Vicky is there, Captain Sunil Arora is there, Amit is there, many more people. And Bajwa. And many more guests and friends and family members of and Mr. Mohitullah from the DRDO is here, and many more distinguished people who are here. It's a small function, but it's the beginning of a very long march, and the march which was taken up by Rochelle some 50 years ago. We have been pursuing this, and Aero Club of India and its own limited means should have been a body with its presence across the dotted lines and across the country for the last 70 years, because it is one of the oldest organizations in this country related to aerosports, air adventure and flying training. This is an organization, the mother of what civil aviation is in India. And if I recall correctly, the first licenses in this country, what we see of the commercial airlines today, was issued by the Aero Club of India way back in 1927. It has a history, it has a very glorious history, and it was a part of the government, it is a part of the government, but unfortunately, for several reasons, it could not emerge and position itself. And many more organizations which came after it established themselves as parallel or institutions individually working in this field. But the fame which came through people like Rochelle and many more in this field was phenomenal. And they did not only establish their footprints in India, but internationally as well. She went to the Seoul Olympics equivalent, I believe. She has been recognized internationally. She got a Padma Shri, but the sports per se never got that recognition which India deserves. A country with a population of 142 billion people does not talk of aerosports is something which is very amusing. While the contribution of the Air Force, the Army, the Navy in the field of aerosports cannot be denied, but it has been confined to them. The civil aviation sector did look at it, but with not much of charm. And others who were philanthropically doing it could not position themselves to that point where aerosports could become a buzz. If you look at, aviation is not very old, it started somewhere in 1900, it's about 110 years old. But to imagine to fly today and to imagine to be in the air is something which actually churns the imagination of many. And many people who may not be actually flying would love to be a part of this group. And we in the Aero Club of India are trying to promote it. I'm very happy that one of the governing council members, Mr. Rajesh, who is sitting here, he met Rochelle recently in my get-together of the Aero Club at my residence. And then he planned to do this function. It's the beginning. It's a small function, but I don't think in the last 30 years, any such function has been held which has been formally been worked out by Aero Club of India, and I'm so happy that some beginning has started today. And we could have had millions of people in this country participating in aerosports, being a member of the Aerosports Club, but unfortunately for whatever reason it could not. At a given point of time, someone headed this organization. And possibly for 30 years, an individual did head this organization when it was finally transformed to someone else and it came to me. My biggest challenge is to knit the whole institution. My biggest challenge is to put all those youngsters who want to fly high in the aerosports. And this is the process by which we have started. Today we have released the book on Rachel, and it must find its place across the country, especially in schools and colleges. But we have planned many more things, and I believe there is a first international preliminary aero modeling show and aero show which is going to happen in Pinjore shortly. We plan a mega event, and I'm sure Rachel would be a brand ambassador there. We have planned an international event in somewhere around September, October, which is going to have participants and delegates across the world. So that would be one of our major events. And the new governing council which has come up has a lot of energy and a lot of perseverance. And please come in, you make yourself up. There's a lot of perseverance, and they have decided to go into the schools and colleges, to the youngsters, to the girls, to the boys, partner with NCC, NSS, RSS. Sorry, RSS, no NSS. But I think they also would be more than willing, all politicians, because I saw one of these days, and he's a very active member of the RSS. And no one knows that he has a small micro life and he has his own backyard, with his parliamentary constituency, and we got him over and he's Kirti Vardhan Singh. No one knows in this country. And there would be many such isolated individuals across the country who have not been put together. And they may be interested in these things, but we have to build up a platform. So this activity is growing. I feel so proud when I see these young girls getting to this aero sports. The large number of flyers which I fly with, the younger generation. But aerosports is something which has not been there in India. And it's a big challenge to infuse that into people, into individuals. And there is no age bar to it. I've seen very elderly people also very fondly talk about these sports. I've seen youngsters. But the biggest challenge is to initiate the school and the colleges across the country. That's a challenge. And that is why we are looking forward to the support of the Army and the Air Force. And we have senior representatives from both the organizations, where we want your youngsters and your young officers visiting the schools and colleges, demonstrating these sports events, talking to them, and of course, I've got very senior captains from the civil aviation sector who fly big jets, and many youngsters who would be very fond of doing this to get into it. As I'm a pilot too, and possibly she said that I'm the only one on the globe because I have been in politics for the last 30 years. I'm the oldest man, Rachel, to get a CPA license in this country. Everyone thinks I was a pilot, but I was never a pilot. I got my pilot license at the age of 50. So because this also has to go in the world record, so I'm in contest with an Air Force officer who got his license from Malaysia and was about 2 months elder to me. Gulab Singh ji other. So, but he got it from Malaysia, I got it from India. So I would be the only Indian. But the record people are not ready to change that, and that's not important. And most of the people feel that, I have been, as a former civil aviation minister, I must have been a pilot. This does not happen in Indian politics. That particular profession and that you get a particular job, it doesn't happen. But I'm sure, and with our new Secretary General who is here, he's actively pursuing most of the things, Mr. Varun. I'm sure in times to come, we would be moving on, and I would like more people to participate. I see new faces, new people coming in these days, which is very fantastic. But still we hope,
Amongst here today, sir, qualified for World and Asian Championship in paragliding accuracy.
Could you read it out? Because I'm not wearing my glasses.
Amongst us, we have 3 proficient paragliding people who are qualified for the Asian event of the FAI and also for the World Champion.